Hello folks, welcome to another edition of American Computer Enthusiasts. I'm Graham Pearson, your host for this evening, and tonight we have Steve Reeves, owner of TotalCAD. He's here to tell us all about Microstation version 4, the latest release from Intergraph. It's going to be a good show. Steve's been on the show before. It was a good show back then, so stay with us. We'll be right back after these messages.
Portions of this show made possible in part by funding from 3Com Corporation and Westerman & Associates, leaders in networking personal computers and workstations. For more information on increasing productivity through LAN manager-based networking, call 623-6506. And by PC People, your friendly source for business software. Remember, PC People offers free delivery for orders over $50. For more information, please call 789-6300.
Everyone makes mistakes, Matthew. Don't pay any attention to the other children.
For this bright 6-year-old, the ABCs have never been as simple as ABC. Where do you go when you're different from the other kids? He got help at a Center for Learning Disabilities. They got help from the United Way. All because the United Way got help from you. The United Way. It brings out the best in all of us.
Randy Travis on strings. Branford Marsalis on the horn. Paul Schaefer on keys. Carly Simon on lead. There are a lot of different parts to play in the American Red Cross. Play your part.
Hello folks, welcome back to American Computer Enthusiasts. I'm Graham Pearson. And tonight we're going to have a good show for you. Steve Reeves has been on the show before. He was here in November telling us all about AutoCAD Release 11. And tonight he's going to talk about Microstation version 4, which is hot off the press from Intergraph. Without further ado, let me introduce you to Steve Reeves. Hello, Steve. Welcome to the show.
Thanks. It's great to be back.
Yeah, good to have you back. You've got a lot of equipment here, and you've got this Microstation 4.0. But first of all, tell us a little bit about TotalCAD, the companies that you own and run. Give us a little bit of history about what does TotalCAD do?
Sure. Just a little about TotalCAD. Well, we've been in business about 6.5 years. We try to stick with just CAD. We're totally CAD. Just CAD hardware and CAD software. Things like AutoCAD, CAD Advanced, VersaCAD, and Microstation. And that's our newest product. And we sell hardware, plotters and digitizers, CalComp, like the CalComp we have back here, Hewlett-Packard, Summa Graphics, Curta, all the name brand equipment, CAD equipment. We try to stick with the biggest names, the best companies, the ones that are going to be around. And so that's primarily what we do.
Are you open on Saturday mornings?
No.
You're not? Oh,
No.
What a shame. If there are some CAD guys out there and you want to go look at Steve's store, it's a great store. He's got Suns, Macintoshes, and IBMs set up. And it's like being a kid in a candy store when you go to his store. So try go visit him sometime. Anyway, let's see what you've got here tonight. Microstation 4.0.
Sure. Probably what I ought to do, I'd like to tell a little bit about Intergraph first and explain what the product is and go into it a little bit. Intergraph is a huge company. I don't know if you know much of, heard of it before, but it's been around for over 20 years. It's last year they did over $1 billion in revenue, so they're a pretty big company. And now that they sell the PC product, Microstation, they've always been known for big systems, mainframes, the VAXes a long time ago, and they moved into the PC market, and it's just gone wild. And the new 4.0 that I'm going to be showing tonight, like you're saying, is brand new, hot off the press. It's only been out a couple of weeks, officially released for a couple of weeks. So to a lot of people, this is going to be brand new. It used to be version 3.3, and now it's 4.0, and anyone that already has 3.3 can upgrade to 4.0 for a nominal charge. but but they get all new manuals, new discs, new everything, as if they bought a brand new package. So, you know, what we're going to show tonight. Actually, I'll explain a little about the hardware, because the #1 question everybody asks about most of the new CAD programs that come out is, what does it run on? And will it run on my PC at home? And does it need to be the fastest thing on earth or whatever? What I'm running on here is a Gateway 2000 386 33 megahertz machine.
Okay. Maybe we can get that up on camera 3. Can we? Oh, you're in on a near shot. Let's see how quickly John can zoom out and get a picture of the hardware.
All right, this computer, and it's got the math coprocessor.
Here he goes. This is a live zoom out by John Borg, folks. First time on TV. There we go.
And it's just a standard VGA board is what I'm running in here. It'll work with just about any graphics board, and graphics boards that are out there. And they do have, a lot of people are making drivers specifically for Microstation now. It's just an NEC 3D monitor, Microsoft mouse, keyboard, and we have a plotter hooked over. Well, I guess we'll talk about the plotter later, but it's a Calcomp Drawing Master thermal image transfer, sort of direct image plotter. And one thing that it does, one other thing is it does work with a digitizer or a mouse. I didn't bring a digitizer tonight, but I brought some templates so I can show you what the templates look like and how it works with a digitizer. I'm going to work with a mouse primarily because it's so simple to use with a mouse now because of the user interface.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we can start talking about that.
Okay, well, while John has to zoom in again to get the screen, so while he does that, I'll show the folks at home. We've got a lot of giveaways tonight. In fact, Steve brought a truckload of giveaways from Microstation, from Intergraph. So we've got some little clocks here. What did he call them? Palm top computers.
Right.
And we've got some mouse pads, and for a lucky few, we've got some T-shirts to give away. So everybody who calls in tonight will get something in the mail. So make sure you get some questions lined up for Steve, and give us a call with your questions. And the telephone number is 861-6283. Steve's kind of an introverted kind of guy, so think of some good questions to ask him and help him along through the show, okay? How are you doing, John? Are you all ready to go? Okay, we're ready to go with a close-up shot of the screen, Steve.
Yeah, we may have to make this into a 3-hour show, so we may run into the news, so because we've got so many things to show. But so you may want to warn the stations.
Okay.
What I've got here is the new 4.0 is actually it's real similar to the way all the basic terms and the commands that was in 3.3, the older version, but they've built it around the OSF motif user interface, similar to the Macintosh, Windows, things that people are used to now. Mm-hmm. And it works with these menus that you can move around on the screen, and you can highlight different things, and it automatically writes it in on the name or the directory. You can change different extensions to automatically look for drawing files or whatever you might need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start up just like you do in a Macintosh or in Windows. You can double-click over the name of the drawing. Like if you want to double-click over the top of ACE, or American Computer Institute, we highlight that, and it loads it up. Comes up with a little blurb on the screen. That's a technical term. That says, about the copyright and the name of the drawing and where it is. And as soon as it comes up, you can see it looks a lot like, it's real intuitive. It's, I don't like everybody uses user-friendly, but it's more an intuitive interface now. Mm-hmm. And everything on here is user-definable. You can move the menus around on the screen wherever you want with the mouse. Everything is done with the mouse, with either button 1, button 2, or a combination of the two. That's like button 3 if you hit both of them at the same time. Mm-hmm. But you can see, you can move these around, and you can highlight different things, pull down menus along the top, and some of them have other things behind it, so you can keep on bringing things up, different dialog boxes. We can go down here and you can see the main menu on the side. On the left-hand side, there's things like lines, and you can see behind each one of those there's more menus, and you can tear those away and leave those on the screen too. So if you're always using the line command, you can tear it away rather than go over to the left-hand side and bring up a menu and bring it back. You can highlight it and leave it on the screen all the time, put it wherever you want, get it out of the way down in the corner, or whatever you might want to do. Things like, for example, locks. If you wanted to lock to a grid point or to an intersection or something, you would go down to the the thing under settings. There's a command under setting called locks, and you can go down here and hit the command toggles. And if you hit toggles, you can see the lock is here, and you can lock to axis lock, grid lock, unit lock, snap lock. And this is a neat little thing. That's another one of those technical terms, neat. Is you can keep it down here in the bottom so that you can bring it up. And what I do is I keep it on the bottom so that whenever I want to lock something, I can go down here and then pull it up whenever I need it, and push it back down like a little drawer. So what we can do is you can do things from the side menu, the top menu, or you can type things in. Some people that are used to the older systems like typing things in, and gradually, I mean, probably 6 of one, half a dozen the other. It's back and forth because the people that are used to the old way like it, but I think people will migrate to the pull-down menus and to the menus just because they're so easy to use, and it's a lot less typing, for one thing.
Can you use a system without a keyboard?
Without
a mouse?
Without a mouse? Sure you could.
Okay.
I wouldn't recommend it,
Yeah.
because you'd have to type everything in, all the coordinates for the drawing, because everything is keyboard. You can input everything from the keyboard if you want. The X and Y coordinates, relative or absolute or polar, giving it a distance and a degree and an angle. I mean, and you can give it, and it'll draw a line at a certain angle or a certain distance over and up, or from an X 0, 0 to 1, 1, using the Cartesian grid layout. So what I'll show is some simple little things here first before we get into it. I mean, things just like lines, for example. You just highlight the line, and you can see these are little 3D buttons, so you can tell they turn a different color, and they also looks like they're pushed in. So if we hit line, for example, we can draw a line on the screen at any angle, anywhere, but we're snapping right now to, actually we're not snapping to anything. I could turn on the grid lock down here. I could move this up a little, highlight grid. Now we're snapping to the grid points. You can see it snaps automatically to the nearest grid. And we can set up that grid to, that's a really nice drawing, isn't it? We might want to keep that one. But you can see we can snap, and you can set it to axis lock also. So now it snaps automatically to a certain degree, like 0, 90, 180, and we can set that to whatever you want. 15, so it'll snap every 15 degrees, or 45, or every 12 and a half, or whatever you might want. 90 is a nice one to keep just because you can draw real fast.
Draw isometrics too.
Right, you could snap it to a 30 or 60 to make isometrics.
Okay.
You can also make an isometric grid. So you can really draw isometric, or it's also three-dimensional. So you can really draw it and give it height and look at it in isometric if you want. So we can do this, and what we can do, we can highlight that little thing up there in the corner, which is the element selection, and we can highlight this entire drawing here, and then hit this little icon in the corner, which deletes what I just did. Even though it was a nice drawing, I still got rid of it.
You got rid of it, huh?
But some of the commands, there's line, and there's arcs, and over here on the left on the main menu, there's continuous lines. There's curves or B-splines, so you can do, real smooth curved lines for topos or whatever you might want to do for civil engineering or coordinate geometry drawings, or for whatever you might want to use curved lines for. Boxes or rectangles. It's surprising how many programs don't do boxes. I mean, it's really strange. You have to draw 4 lines as opposed to a box. And you can see behind box, there's not only box, but there's just regular box and box at an angle and multi-sided polygon or whatever you might want to do. It does fillets or fillet.
Fillet.
If you work at McDonald's, it's fillet. Or chamfered corners, and you can specify distances and radiuses and whatever you might want to do. You can do circles or arcs, circles or ellipses. We can do points. We can do cells. Cells are like symbols. Symbols are like drawings that you may want to draw one time, like a toilet or a sink or furniture or partition or a valve or whatever. You draw it one time, and it's called a cell or a symbol. And you can have different cell libraries. Cell libraries, you can bring those up, and I'll get into that a little bit later, but cell libraries, you can assign different cell libraries to different drawings. Like you may keep all your plumbing cells in the plumbing cell library, or your furniture and your furniture cell library. And that way you don't have to have one huge library with all your symbols in it. You can have different ones, and it makes for a faster drawing in the way it loads things and whatever. And you can better for CAD management, which is important. One thing that a lot of people don't think about. Text, there's an online text editor which allows you to edit existing text, which is a hard thing to do in a lot of programs. If you type something in, it used to be you had to delete it. Even on here, you have to delete what you typed in and retype it and then figure out where you put it and where it was and what text font it was. Now you can highlight an existing text item and automatically fixes it and remembers all about the text font and everything else. And there's mirroring, so you can mirror things across a line or at a certain angle. You can move things, scale things up, draw continuous curved lines or explode things, or this little paintbrush is actually, if you hit this paintbrush, is the same thing as hitting up here, because I tore this menu away and kept it up here for refreshing the screen or zooming in or zooming out, or whatever you might want to do, for controlling the view. And one of the nicest things about this program is the multiple views. You can if you hit up here, you can actually make this view or this little window up here, and you can have different things in the different windows. You can have up to 8 on the screen at one time by going up here to view, and you can open different windows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8. And you can turn them on, like if we hit number 4, 4 comes on. On this screen, this is a 14-inch screen. It gets kind of confusing if you get more than 4 screens up views at the same time, but it's an easy way to see what's going on.
Okay. Well, maybe we've got to take a quick break, Steve. But maybe after the break you can pull up a 4-dimensional drawing and see how it looks.
Sure.
Okay, stay with us, folks. We'll be right back after these messages with Steve Reeves from TotalCAD and Intergraph's Microstation 4.0.
Thank you for your call. I'm glad I could be of help. If you'll join me Wednesday evenings, I'll try to help you with some of your medical problems. I'm Dr. David Mobley, the host of Health Talk Houston. And each Wednesday evening, I have a panel of experts with me to discuss a number of medical problems of interest to you. We'll cover such diverse topics as headaches, back pain, kidney stones, urinary incontinence, and you will have an opportunity to call in yourself and talk with these physicians. Join us on Access Houston, the educational channel.
Portions of this show made possible in part by funding from 3Com Corporation and Westerman & Associates, leaders in networking personal computers and workstations. For more information on increasing productivity through LAN manager-based networking, call 623-6506. And by PC People, your friendly source for business software. Remember, PC People offers free delivery for orders over $50. For more information, please call 789-6300.
Past, mental health issues were kept locked behind the walls of an asylum, secretive, even frightening images. Today, thankfully, we can talk about these issues in a much more sophisticated manner, backed up by years of experience and research. On Mental Health Matters, we bring you the latest information on issues like schizophrenia, relationships, parenting skills. Join us for Mental Health Matters every Monday night at 7 o'clock.
To American computer enthusiasts, we're here with Steve Reeves tonight, the prolific CAD person from TotalCAD. Steve's showing us Intergraph's Microstation version 4.0. Without further ado, back to Steve. You're going to show us a drawing oh, you're going to put together a drawing for us.
Right. I'm just going to show some of the features on some of the things that they've added in this new release for the people that have seen or used an older system, an older version, and then but some things that are pretty nice that are on the new version for people that have never seen it.
Before your very eyes.
Right. One of the newest things that they've added, one of the biggest new things, is multi-lines, the multi-line command. It used to be you had to draw one single line and then offset it, and to a, for instance, doing a wall or a pipe or whatever. And if you wanted to do multiple lines, you had to offset at different distances. That wasn't always a real fun thing to do, especially for architects or engineers, especially architects that did multi-line walls like a stud wall with a brick line on the outside, which had to be certain distance from the wood wall and everything else. So it's with this you can do things that are it saves a lot of times. The benefits of this it makes a huge difference. So what I'm going to do is just zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to zoom in up in the corner of this drawing here so we can see the grid a little bit better. So what I'm going to do is you hit over here, and there's a little icon which looks like a little multi-line. So I hit it on the top of multi-line, and you can see now automatically it goes to multi-line on the side. So now if we draw something, I'm going to turn this on axis lock and grid lock, so we can draw something, and you can see it draws the multiple lines that are made up. This is one that I made up just to show how it works, and I'll show a little bit about how we can make these up. I'm just going to draw something little here just to show you what's happening, and then I'm going to goof it up. I never goof up, but I'm going to goof it up on purpose and show how we can fix these. It automatically fixes corners, T's, intersections of multiple lines, and we can go in here and draw from there over to here. That's a closet there. This is a bathroom. So we're going to go in here, and we're going to, again, I'm going to try to make a wall from there, and then I'll make a wall from here to here, and we can fix those things automatically. This is when these little windows come in handy. If we go over here and make this a little bit bigger, we'll just go over here and make this window a little bit bigger. This is a perfect time to show the undo command. So we can go over here and just hit Edit, Undo, and it undoes that line automatically. And we'll just hit refresh and refresh the screen. We can go over here and we'll make this window a little bit bigger, this little view, I mean, and we can move this out of the way so it's not quite there. And what we want to do, let's say we want to zoom in here, and we don't want to zoom in this, we want to see the full picture here, full drawing here, but we want to zoom in over here. So what we'll do is we'll hit up here on the top over the window, and we'll zoom in here and say we want to put that view right there. And we want to zoom in right here, and we want to put that one right there.
Now, you might move that bottom right window. You can't see the TV at home,
okay. Can
Steve.
I put it over there?
It's behind your head. You're okay now.
Okay, I moved it out of the way there.
Yeah.
So we can put things wherever you want to put it there. And now we can fix those things. I'm going to move this one down here so I can see what's going on. But see, we can move all these things. We'll just get these all out of the way. But we want to fix that right there. That's that view right there. And we can hit, there's a new command under palettes called multi-line joints. And you can see we've got a lot of things on here, but there's fixed a T, fixed intersections, fixed L's or corners, whatever you want to do there. Like this corner right here, you can't tell right now, but it's not quite fixed. What I'm going to do is I'll zoom in there real fast. We'll zoom in this corner, and we'll hit it right here, and you can see it's not quite fixed. It fixes all the other corners automatically, but where we ended up, we have to fix it. So I'll fix that corner, and we'll turn off the axis lock and the grid lock, and we'll say that line right there and that line right there. It automatically fixes it for you, cleans it up. That is not a fun thing to do if it doesn't do that automatically. And what we'll do is we'll fix these over here. Like this is this line right here. We're going to fix that as a T. And we'll say we'll hit that line right there and that line right there, and it automatically fixes it. You can see it fixes it in all the views at the same time. We can hit it here, and we can hit this line here. It doesn't make any difference which view you hit, and it automatically knows what's going on. We can hit that line there, that line there. It automatically fixes that. We can say this line here, it automatically fixes that.
So it makes some assumption about which line is the wrong one there, right?
And then we can fix the corner here. We can say fix it. They don't have to be joining. They can be just, you can tell whatever you want. Automatically fixes it. And then we can say one more, which is a T. We can say there. And, well, we can zoom in if we want, but I'm just going to hit this line. I know which one it is, so do it like that. Now, we say we want to put some doors in there. This is when we come into the cell library. I've made up some symbols already, and show you how they work. Let's say we want to put in a door. We can go over here, and because I've got this set up on a grid, it makes it real easy. And that's the way a lot of people draw. So what I can do is I can hit this right here, and I can move it over to one grid point and just move it over. But what I want to do is I want to go down there, and I want to change that back, because I want to set it up on a grid so it snaps automatically to the grid lock. So now if we hit this line right here and move it up, you can see it automatically snaps to that grid. We can say from there, move it over one grid point. Better put a door in the closet, right? Put one there. And we can put a front door, but that's all right. And then we can go up to these.
Put it like my house. The front door is in the closet.
Right. So we can go to the settings under cells. And what pops up is a library of all the cells that I've made up. There's things like chair. This is another new feature of 4.0, is to be able to see what your cells are. If you didn't have a little book in front of you with all the symbols that you'd made up, or something hanging on the wall, you'd always forget, or if you didn't use it every day, you'd always forget what your symbols look like. That's a strange-looking chair, but believe me, that's a chair. We'll hit a valve, so you can see that's a valve. This is a valve. And you can, what's nice about this is you can hit, not only does it tell you the name, you can put a description. Like this is a plain valve, and then that's a plain valve. This is another kind of valve. And it tells you that it's a graph. Exactly. So, so you can see that's a little like butterfly valve or whatever it is. You can add a little window we can put in the wall. There's chairs, a door, a table. Table's pretty basic, it's a box. But say we want to put in a door. You can see there's the door right there. What we want to do is we're going to hit down here in the corner where it says placement, and that means, and it says right there door, and it tells us that's what we're going to do. So we'll double click on this button up here and turn that off, and we'll go over here to the where it says A. That means active cell. This little cell command right here, hit right there, and it automatically puts that door in, brings it up, and a little icon box which tells us we're putting in door, the angle that we're putting it in, and you can scale it up and down. Say, for instance, you want to put in a plant in this drawing. We'll put in a plant. And we can make it big or small and make it so we can have a tree outside or a plant inside. So we can snap, because I've got this on grid snap, it's going to be real easy to snap these. And we can, let's say we want to rotate that, let's say 270 degrees, and we'll put the door in there right there. There's not enough room in that. Well, I'm pretty good, and I didn't do very good about making that door there. But we just won't put a door there. It's an open door.
Open closet.
It's a door that slides in the wall. All right.
Oh,
that's what it was. That's what I meant.
Those always get your fingers.
Right. Exactly. So we can put that door in there automatically because we made the opening. We can do that, and we can put some furniture in if we want to go down back to cells, or we can type in AC, active cell equals, and we can put in there chair or whatever. Let's do chair, for example, and we hit placement, and we can let's just turn that off right here. And if we go to active cell again, you can see there's our chair. We can turn off the grid lock.
We're having a lot of fun, aren't we? I wonder how the folks are at home. We've got 3 callers already. Do you want to take a telephone call and and catch some air?
Sure, that'd be great.
Okay, we got callers on line 1, 2, and 3. Let's see who's on 1. We're going to take calls tonight, and everybody who calls in is going to get something. We've got lots of giveaways. We've got computers and T-shirts and mouse pads. So give us a call. Ask Steve something about this new version of Microstation 4.0. Let's see who's on 1. Hello, you're on the air. Who are we talking with, please?
This is George.
Hello, George.
How you doing?
Fine. How's the program so far?
Oh, it's great. I was wondering, the new 4.0, is it compatible with network like LAN operating systems like NetWare?
Sure. As a matter of fact, they've just released the new, the networkable part of it that works with Novell, works with NFS, PCNFS, made by Sun. It can, but it does work with networks. I have a little blurb, it's one of those technical terms, a little blurb that I have printed up that I'd be glad to send you, or leave your name and number, and I'd be glad to send you explaining everything you need to know about setting up on a network. I've got everything, how you have to modify, and so it knows where everything is, how to put it on the station, on each individual workstation, so it knows where all the directories are, knows where all the files, where the drawing files, the cell libraries, and everything are. But yes, it does, to answer your question, yes, it does work on networks.
And also, how does it compare with like AutoCAD Release 11?
I knew I'd get that question.
Specifically,
you're the lucky caller. We do sell both of them, and I can tell you, because I know them both, and I sell both of them, I can give you a real good comparison. Do you want to ask a question? Did you specifically?
Well, I have a running argument. I've done a little bit with Microstation, and everybody else at work uses AutoCAD. And I like AutoCAD. Well, I like Microstation because you can have 2 screens active. Well, that was my other question was, does it still support dual monitors?
Yes, it does. 8 views on each of them.
That's what I didn't like about AutoCAD very well. You can only have one view active.
And depends on the graphics card. You need a graphics card that'll support 2 monitors. one that either has, like, for example, the new STB board, the power graphs. It has, it's adjustable. You can put a different address on for the cards, which allows you to have 2 cards, which you can have 2 monitors, which allows you to have 8 different views on each monitor, and then you just swap back and forth. You can assign a key, like I assigned the, well, I don't have 2 monitors here, but the F9 key is a swap key, which allows you to go from one monitor to the other monitor.
Does Microstation have anything like AutoList, where you can program?
Yes. It's real close to the new AutoCAD ADS. They call it MDL, the Microstation Development Language, which allows you to link your programs with C, the same with ADS, and allows you to interface. And it does interface, I didn't bring this up, but it does interface with DBase and Oracle. So you can develop something that will interface with both this, with the Microstation on your PC, or you can interface with the database, and you can also write things in C using the MDL for doing macros and user-definable commands.
You have like a DXF facility like AutoCAD?
Yes, built in automatically. It's on the File menu, and you can import or export DXF files either way, both ways.
Now, I've had some terrible experiences with DXF. It's the absolute pits as far as translating drawings. And I work on an artificial intelligence machine that we design poles. When I try to import into AutoCAD, drawings are just totally terrible.
Right. 4.0, it's a lot cleaner than it used to be. But the main reason that is because not everybody has the same standard for DXF. Even though there's a DXF, there's different versions of DXF depending on which release. People have different software, and there's always something that is different. But it's a lot cleaner in 4.0 than it used to be.
Well,
thanks for calling.
George, thanks for calling in.
Thank you very much.
We'll send you a T-shirt.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for your comments. Okay, folks, we're going to take a quick break, and then after the break, we'll get back to a little bit more of Microstation. We'll be answering your telephone calls. Stay with us, please.
Shut up! Shut up and hurry, or we'll never be ready for the 1991 Oppie Award.
Don't despair. You have until May 3rd, 1991 to turn in your entry for the 1991 Access Awards for Programming Excellence.
How can I get more entry information?
By calling 524-7700 for more information, or by watching your mailbox for the official call for entry. If you're not on our mailing list, then call right now.
All right, let's see. My taxes, income taxes.
For some people, doing their tax forms by themselves can make them feel like they're climbing the walls.
My name is, my full name is, I remember that, Dependence.
If you need help, free tax help is available from IRS-trained volunteers. Find them by calling 1-800-TAX-1040. They'll make your taxes less taxing.
Portions of this show made possible in part by funding from 3Com Corporation and Westerman and Associates, leaders in networking personal computers and workstations. For more information on increasing productivity through LAN manager-based networking, call 623-6506. And by PC People, your friendly source for business software. Remember, PC People offers free delivery for orders over $50. For more information, please call 789-6300.
Hi folks, welcome back. We're here with Steve Reeves from TotalCAD, and we've got all kinds of phone calls. So Steve's pulled another picture up under Microstation 4.0, and we're going to, shall we start with a telephone call, or do you want to show us? All right, let's go to line 2, see who's on line 2. Hello, you're on the air. Who are we talking with, please? Hello? Well, they got impatient. Let's try.
We're giving that car away, too.
Yeah, they wouldn't have hung up if they knew about the car, would they? Let's go to line 3. Hello, you're on the air. Who are we talking with, please?
This is Kevin.
Hi, Kevin.
I wanted to ask, how much does the product cost, and exactly what type of system configuration do you need to run it?
Sure. Good
okay,
question.
Thanks for calling, Kevin. I'm going to hang you. Well, he hung up anyway.
All right.
All right. What's the buckaroos? That's
Sure.
a technical
First,
term.
the program itself is $3,450, $3,450. To upgrade from an existing software like 3.3 is $500. As far as hardware goes, it requires minimum 386. It'll work on a 386 SX, 16 or 20 megahertz. It'll work on, you know, a 20, 25, 33 like I have here, or a 486. The faster the better. It's like a car, you know. They all look the same, but I mean, the faster the better. But as far as hardware, anything else, it does require a Mathco processor. 486, of course, is built in. Minimum, I wouldn't go with anything less. Actually, I've never seen it anything less than VGA, just a standard VGA card. And as far as mouse, any mouse, you know, 2 or 3 button mouse, or even some of those multiple. I have one that has like 40 buttons on it, and it works fine with that ProHance mouse. Or a digitizer, 4-button, 16-button, any size. The templates, I guess I can show those real fast. The templates,
yeah.
There's 2 different types of templates.
Here, I'll hold it up for you. Wow.
One that works on a 12 by 12, even though it's not square 12 by 12. It works on a 12 by 12 inch digitizer, and then the one that works on a 12 by 18. The 12 by 18 is a little easier to see, and it gives you multiple. If you turn it over, the one side is upside down. One has words on it.
There's only 8 ways to hold this up.
One that has words on it and one that has icons on it. So you start with the words. That's what I did. And then and the better you get, you turn it over and you use the icons. And you can go real fast.
I see.
So some people love the way digitizers work, and they'll probably stick with digitizers. Some people, if you start using this right off the bat without ever using the old system with a digitizer, you probably use a mouse. But, you know, some people can't figure out how people use mice, and people that use mice can't figure out how people use digitizers. It's always, you know, there's always a war of the input devices. So, but it works with any size digitizers, any brand. Calcomp, you know, actually I didn't bring a Calcomp. I didn't bring any digitizer, but or the Curt or Summa Graphics, and it works great with any of those. So,
if you're all awash with all of these CAD terms, you need to go visit Steve at his shop. Remember, he's got a great shop, and you'd really love to visit him. He's down there in Westbury Square, or near Westbury Square.
Right in the corner of Chimney Rock and West Belfort. You come by, we'll make you into a CAD nerd.
That's another technical term.
Right.
All
You'll
right.
be a CAD nerd in no time.
Do you want to take another call?
Sure.
All right, we go to line 1, strict rotation here. Let's see who's on line 1. Hello, you're on the air. Who are we talking with, please?
Hi, this is Teresa.
Hello, Teresa.
I was wondering, how is a microstation real complete when you first take it out of the box, or does it require a lot of customizing like AutoCAD?
What you're seeing here today is straight out of the box. No customization, nothing. It's everything you see is what you get. You actually get all these drawings. Well, not the drawing that I made up in the beginning. I could probably sell that to you, but everything there, all these menus, everything. It does the multi-lines. It does the, you know, as far as the plotting and everything else that comes with it, all the drivers. The only thing that there are third-party packages you can buy. As a matter of fact, I brought one. It's not on here right now, but it's called MicroArchitect, that actually will automatically input the doors in for you, where you don't have to go in there and cut the wall. You just hit somewhere on the wall, and it would automatically cut the wall, put the door in for you, rather than having to cut the wall first and then, you know, or fix it or whatever. And it does some other things too. Automatically puts windows in. It draws stairs automatically, 3-dimensional stairs and things. And there are also a lot of the third-party software that's available for AutoCAD, for example, is available. Some of the same manufacturers make it for MicroStation. Things like ADEV, the application development program that's made in Louisiana for piping and you know, for flow diagrams and P&IDs. There's architectural, there's structural, there's mechanical, there's stress. I mean, all kinds of different structural analysis programs also that link in here. But a lot of things that used to be add-ons now come with 4.0. I know there's probably some third-party developers that aren't real happy that they've added a lot of things to the main package, but it gives, now that they've added the new programming language, it makes their job a lot easier too. So.
Okay, can I ask you one more question?
Okay.
Is there any specific entities that don't translate well between AutoCAD and MicroStation?
Three things that I've seen between the two. One is text. A lot of times if you have a new text font that you bought from some third party, a lot of times those text fonts don't come straight across. It may come across as the default text font. The next thing is line types. If you've made up your own line type, sometimes those don't come across. They may come across as a solid line as opposed to a dashed or a dotted line that you may have made up. The standard lines that come with the package, they come across no problem. Usually the dash, the dot, the phantom lines, and the solid lines. And then the last thing is occasionally, well, the other thing is attributes. If you added, one thing I haven't talked about yet, but this does, because it, well, I guess I talked about it a little, is the attributes that link with the database. Those don't always come across because they both use different types of attributes when you save them with a cell on here or a symbol in AutoCAD. So if you bring them across, a lot of times, well, most of the time, or if not all the time, they're not there. So if you save an attribute in one package, it's not there when you bring it across.
How about solids or like filled?
Actually, I haven't tried it.
Lines with width.
I don't know about that on 4.0. I'd have to try it. Actually, I haven't. I'd have to try an AutoCAD. I'd have to try it on the new 4.0 to see how it comes across. I know that was a problem with a lot of packages, actually. You never know how it's going to come across a fat line. That's another technical term, fat line. And so I'd have to try it and see how it works with 4.0. I'd have to try it with one of my existing drawings.
Okay, thanks.
All right, well, thanks for calling, Teresa. There she goes. Fat lines. We have a lot of technical terms.
Right. We have to write all these down there. There will be a test.
I don't have enough paper here, but I hope somebody's writing down all these technical terms we're getting through. I hope we're not washing the guys at home out here with all the technical terms.
No, there is a test after we're finished.
The test? We've got lots of people calling in. What do you want to do?
Why don't we talk real fast about this, just so I can show you this, and then we'll go to the next question. One thing I want to make sure that I talk about is the 3D part of it and the rendering part of it that's built in automatically. Both what we're showing here, is it on now?
It's not. There we go.
Okay. What I'm showing here is actually the 4 different views. There's a top view, the plan view, looking down on it. The front view, we can move this out of the way here. The front view and the right view. And we can name these whatever you want. That's one thing nice about these views. Not only does it have view 1, 2, 3, and 4, but you can name them to whatever you want, like into a certain, if you're working on a certain view, you don't have to remember, well, view 1 is a certain room or whatever. And then the view up here is the perspective view. And it does draw true 3D drawings, perspective drawings, or isometric drawings, and it does the rendering depending on the color that you drew it in. Say, for instance, if you drew this car, that's a car there, in red, it would come out in red. And the plants coming down are in green, so they'd come out in green. It's because we're working straight VGA, it's dithering the colors. If we were working with a higher a higher resolution or a more expensive graphics board, it would come across looking almost photorealistic. I mean, not really photorealistic, but you can make it look pretty slick. Because with a Taiga board, that's one of the new standards, the DGIS boards, like the artist boards, there's different boards that are out there, that this will come across in shades as opposed to dithers. This looks pretty good for a quick drawing. We can go over here and we can make this a little bit bigger here if we make this bigger. And it'll zoom out, it'll zoom in, and you'll be able to see it'll look a lot better. Actually, with VGA, the farther away you stand, the better it looks. So if we go in there, it'll start drawing. It'll try to fill in as much as it can here. You'll see the wall coming out to the street, and it tries to fill in as much as it can. But you can make this look really good with a higher resolution graphics board with more colors, or with it's filling in the street now. It's got all kinds of wild things. There's a river, and pretty soon a kid with a bike will come down the street. But but you can see that it looks pretty good. I mean, this is just a standard VGA board.
Oh, pretty good.
But this is something that's built into 4.0. With most packages, it's an add-on package.
Okay. Let's go for line 2.
Okay.
See who's on line 2. Hello, you're on the air. Who are we talking with, please?
It's David, Graham. How you doing?
Fine. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, great. How you doing, Steve?
I'm great.
How's the show going? Does it look all right from home?
Oh, it's great.
We're having a great time here in the studio. I'm trying to keep a straight face all the time with all these technical terms being bandied around. Anyway, what's your question for Steve, David?
Well, I just want to welcome him back for the second time. I enjoyed him in November. He's got a great presentation this time. This is a great program. A couple of quick questions. Do you support the Cyrix coprocessor? And if so, what is your preference in terms of speed on a math coprocessor?
Again, faster is better. It's never too fast, and it seems to work with any of the math coprocessors that are out there. There's I forget the name of the one.
The YTech?
Well, not the YTech, but there's different brands of. Intel doesn't have the corner in the market anymore. There's different people that make math coprocessors, but it does. Like the 486, it's built in. But like here, I just have a regular Intel 387 chip that's in here. But it does. We've had no problems, and as a matter of fact, I've seen it in the literature. They actually not recommend, but they do give you a list. And it says that it works with the other math coprocessors. But again, faster the better.
Okay, in terms of that, also, will you support extended memory as much as you have?
Right. That's one thing I forgot to say was this does have 4 megs of extended RAM in it, which it says actually in the literature it says minimum 2, but I wouldn't recommend 2 megs. Nowadays, most 386s come with 4 megs of RAM, and I would highly recommend at least 4 megs. Again, the more the better. For bigger drawings and whatever, but it does take advantage of extended RAM, and you do need like I said, a minimum of 2 megs. I'd recommend a minimum of 4 megs of extended RAM.
Okay, guys.
All right, Dave. Thanks for calling.
Thanks for calling.
David's one of our regular viewers. He must be a CAD nerd too.
He must have lots of.
Yeah, he
fun
deserves
stuff.
a T-shirt, doesn't he?
Right.
We might give him a T-shirt. How are we doing? We've got 3 minutes, and we've got 10 calls. What should we do? Well, let's
Talk
take another
fast.
call. Yeah. Hey, you're on the air with American Computer Enthusiasts. Who are we talking with?
Hi, my name's Bernadette.
Hi, Bernadette.
Hi. I currently use generic CAD, and I was wondering, Steve, how much training would I need to transition from my current package to Microstation? And secondly, does Totally CAD do training?
Total CAD does do training, but there's also one thing good about, well, most of the programs that we sell is there are authorized training centers here in town. I know University of Houston downtown, they're authorized Microstation training centers. But we do training in-house. We have a huge facility that we have computers set up so we can do training. But there are other places around town that do training. But what was the first question? I forget the first question.
How much time would it take?
Oh, time. What I tell most people, a lot of people ask that question, is because there are so many different people that learn something in school and they go to another package when they go to their job. I say once you learn one CAD package, you can hop from one to the other pretty easy because they all have the same basic commands. Zoom, zoom in, zoom out, pan, draw a line, circle, square, rectangle, whatever you might have. Symbols, they all have symbols. The only difference is sometimes are the menu structures. And because this is so intuitive, because of the icons, you can make it can be as easy, it's real easy to go from one to the other. There's also one thing that I didn't show in here, but you can actually bring up word menus. If you don't like the icons, you can bring up words like line or circle or whatever you might want. If you like, you'd rather have that rather than the icons. And then one thing nice about it, you can have both of them up, and when you hit one, it actually shows you, if you hit circle, it actually highlights circle over on the icon menu, so you can get used to one going to the other one. That's really good for people that are used to the old Microstation 3.3. Not actually old, but the older version. So.
And I was wondering, I know every time they, back in the back behind you is a big machine. What is that? You mentioned it was some kind of a thermal. Is that like a fax machine?
Yeah, I guess it's a lot like a laser.
It is a lot like, yeah. It's more, yeah, it is, it's true. It's more like a laser because it comes straight out as opposed to a pen plotter that goes back and forth.
Hey, Bernadette, we're going to show that towards the end of the show, so, and we've got a lot of callers coming in, so let's...
I'll explain everything about the plotter.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for calling in, and thanks for reminding us we need to show We
Right.
show the plotter sometimes, and we're going to put John through his paces and get him up there with the camera on the plotter. What are you telling me, John? We've got 5 minutes and one line. All right, we've got 3 minutes and line number 1. Let's go to line number 1. Hello, you're on the air. Who are we talking with, please? Well, John.
Hello?
Hello, you're on the air. Who's calling?
Ann.
It's Susan?
Ann.
Ann.
Yes, Ann.
Oh, hi, Ann. How you doing?
Hi.
What's your question for Steve?
Well, you already said it works on a 286, but how much room does it take on the disk?
Okay. The minimum configuration, the minimum amount of space, if you don't load all these drawings and things, is about between 10 and 11 megabytes. If you load everything that comes with it, it takes up about 17 megabytes of space. Not everybody loads every single thing, but to begin with, it's a good idea because it has all the help menus. Is another thing I need to show is how it has in text. They call it contextual help, where when you hit something on the screen, it actually will highlight and bring up a help menu for every single thing you hit. But as far as space on the hard drive, it's about between 10 and 11 megabytes. It's a pretty big program.
Okay, Ann, thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye. So what do we got? Oh, we got 2 minutes left and 17 phone calls. We've got line number 2. Let's go to line number 2. Hello. No. Line number 2. No, we lost line number 2. They chickened out on you, Steve.
That was the car again, too.
It was, yeah. That was the person who was going to win the car. What else do you want to show us?
Okay.
You've got a minute and a half.
Okay, what I'll show you, one thing that it does have is help. And you can bring different on topics, on keys, or whatever you want to do as far as the help goes. What I want to do is, let's go back here and close this screen up so we don't have this rendering up here. One thing I do want to show are some of these different menus that are on here. One, file, there's the cell libraries, close. This is where you do the plotting. This is where you do the import, like somebody asked, the import to DXF or DXF. You can see when you hit this, you can see DXF. You can also import existing text from your word processor, any kind of ASCII text. You can also save an image or whatever, display an image, and this is where you exit out of the program. Edit, a lot of the same things that you have with like Macs, you can copy or paste or whatever you want to do there. You need to go?
Yeah, let's take another break. John's telling me we really have to take a break now, folks.
Right.
So we're going to take a break, and then we'll be back for 3 or 4 minutes to close out the show. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
Portions of this show made possible in part by funding from 3Com Corporation and Westerman & Associates, leaders in networking personal computers and workstations. For more information on increasing productivity through LAN manager-based networking, call 623-6506. And by PC People, your friendly source for business software. Remember, PC People offers free delivery for orders over $50. For more information, please call 789-6300.
You may see more clients coming to you to try to get out of debt.
Authorized and created Metro to give a 1-cent sales tax.
Using opera as an educational tool in language arts and social studies.
Hi, I'm Viola Sales. Watch my show, The Viola Sales Show, on Access Houston, Monday nights at 9 p.m. It's live, so call in and express your views on issues of concern to the Houston community.
Dummy. You're pathetic. You little brat.
Child abuse is also known by some other words.
Jerk. You moron. You're so clumsy.
Words like these can hit as hard as a fist.
You were never born. I hate you.
What you say to your children can determine how they feel about themselves.
You slob. You're worthless.
And how they feel about you. Get the picture. Stop using words that hurt. Start using words that help. For helpful information, contact us.
Well, folks, welcome back to the final few minutes of this edition of American Computer Enthusiast. Before we run out of time, we're going to show you the plotter that's in the back. It's a Calcomp electrostatic plotter. John Borg, who is our floor director, is going to hit the return key and immediately we'll get some plot out of the machine, and he's holding the camera so you can see from the floor producer's eye view what this thing looks like. This is actually producing a black and white plot very quickly. It's possible to get these in two colors, I guess, red and black, isn't
Right.
it?
What this actually, the same plotter can do red and black, and what it does is the paper is actually heat sensitive, and this is a thermal plotter. So depending on what, you can put it on different layers on your drawing, and it'll come out different colors on the plotter. And
That's
this is
the guillotine.
right. It automatically cuts. We can actually, if I just touch it, it'll fall down, but we want to keep it up there for a minute.
Mhm.
But it will. It has different line weights. You can make different line weights. It's 200 by 400 dots per inch, and you can different resolutions for fast, two colors.
Okay. Good
All right.
deal. So, how are you doing, John? Are you all right? John's stuck in the corner now, over at the plotter. What do you see for the future? What, how can this thing get any better?
I don't know. I guess some of the third-party developers that are out there made up third-party software. I guess they could keep adding that to the existing software to do different things that people needed to do. But with the new MDL, the new programming language, the sky's the limit for what people can do with add-on software and user-definable macros and things. So there's really nothing. There's no end to what can happen. That can actually happen.
Mhm.
But of course, faster the better, and anything to make it faster is what everybody wants. It's never fast enough. The programs are always, no matter what you have, that people always say, how can I make it faster? But this is pretty fast.
Mhm. And of course, having these guys in competition with AutoCAD is good for us, because the competition forces them to bring out new and better versions, and
that's right.
All we do is benefit from all of that development work.
Right. When one comes out with something, the next one they come out with the same exact thing plus one better, and it's always, and like you say, it's better for the end user, and that's who benefits the most.
Yeah. How are we doing for time? Anybody? We got 3 minutes. Okay. What do you want to talk about for 3 minutes? We got any person on the phone? We've got 30 seconds. Oh, we got 30 seconds, folks. Well, we've had a pretty good time here tonight. I hope you can tell that from home. Like all guests, Steve says, he could have filled 2 shows with what he wanted to tell us about. But maybe you can call Steve if you're interested in CAD. Go see his store. It's just great. All kinds of toys down there, plotters, fancy computers, and some real nice software. Thanks for being with us again, Steve. It's a real pleasure.
Thanks for asking.
And I hope things go well for you, and maybe sometime in the near future you can come back and give us another show on yet another release of some fantastic CAD software.
Anytime.
Very good. Thanks for joining us, folks. Next week, I guess I'm back again. So you got me for 2 weeks in a row, and we're going to be talking about COBOL on the PC. COBOL, that language that... does anybody ever use COBOL anymore? Well, we're about to find out. Next week, tune in Thursday at 7 o'clock on Access Houston for another edition of American Computer Enthusiasts. Thanks for being with us. Thanks, Steve, and a good night.